The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, Lord.
Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. No one can take them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one can take them out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today we commemorate the 59th Annual World Day of Prayer for Vocations. Today is a Vocation Sunday. It is a day when we are asked to pray for vocations to the priesthood and religious life, especially in our diocese. It is also a day when we are asked to reflect on our own baptismal vocation. Pope Francis, in his message for this day, wrote, "When we speak of vocation, then it is not just about choosing this or that way of life, devoting one's life or certain ministry, or being attracted by the charism of a religious family movement or ecclesial community. It is about doing God's desire come true, the great vision of fraternity that Jesus desired when he prayed to the Father that they may all be one." The sense of that shared vocation is clearly expressed in what Jesus asked for in today's Gospel reading. He calls us to listen his voice, the voice of the shepherd, and to follow him. These are the two characteristics that Jesus considered the most essential for those who wish to belong to him as members of his flock. In the first place, we have to create the ability to listen to Jesus. We need to appreciate the life-giving quality of his word and allow it to feed our spiritual hunger and quench our spiritual thirst. Pope John 23rd said on one occasion that the church is like an old village fountain, and from its tap fresh water must always flow. The church has the responsibility to ensure that the fresh water of Jesus' word is always flowing. We need to listen to that word and prayerfully reflect upon it. We live in a society that invades our consciousness with all kinds of images, messages, slogans, and claims. We are inundated with messages and images in a way that was not true of past time to the same extent. The power and pressure of these images can be considerable. We need to make a real effort to place the living word of Jesus at the center of our faith communities and of our own lives as believers. We need that element of silence in our lives to really listen to the Lord's words, especially as it comes to us in the Gospels. The sheep that belong to me listen to my voice. Jesus goes on to say, and they follow me. It is not enough to listen the Lord's voice. Our baptism calls us to follow Him as well. We have to allow His Word to shape us, to mold our thoughts, words, and actions. We have to believe that we have to believe what He believed, to give importance to what He gave importance to defend the dignity of human person as He did, to be with the powerless, the vulnerable as He was, to be free to do the good as He did, to trust God the Father as He trusts Him, to face life and death with hope with which He faced them. The Lord calls us to allow His attitudes and values to take root in our hearts and to bear fruit in our lives so that we can come to say with St. Paul, "It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me." This is the calling we all share in virtue of our baptism. It is such a profound and all-embracing calling that we spend our whole lives responding to it. The person of Christ is a life journey. When we grow a little deaf to this calling, or when we wander off from this journey, it is worth our while beginning again. The Lord continues to call even when our response grows weak. What Jesus goes on to say in the gospel reading suggests that He will not let us go easily even if we are prone to wandering off. He declares they will never be lost. This is the confident cry of the Good Shepherd who is determined to lose nothing of what God His Father has given Him. This confidence of the Shepherd does not make us complacent, but it encourages us not to lose heart in times of personal failure and not to give up on ourselves, because we know that our Good Shepherd does not give up on us. Jesus' statement, "They will never be lost," is matched by His statement that no one will steal them from me. In the second statement, Jesus recognizes that there are lots of forces at work in the world to steal His followers from Him. There are lots of influences in our world which seek to snatch us from the Lord. Yet, the Lord declares that His work of keeping us faithful to Himself is stronger than the forces which work to steal us from Him. Saint Paul expressed that truth in very succinct fashion. Where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more. The Lord who calls us is also working with us, helping us to respond to His calling. Today, we remind ourselves of our shared baptismal vocation, and we renew our response to that calling in the confidence that, as St. Paul says in the first letter from the Thessalonians, the one who calls you is faithful, and he will do this.